Hello everybody. Um, Video up here for the twin flames. Actually, this video kind of like it was the right time at some point, but didn't happen. Now a few people asking me the same questions over and over, and usually those are the questions that I kind of like make the videos. That kind of like works within the energies that comes in. This video is about titled what to do when we getting into union, what to do. um, First of all, it's a great news, Zavit. I still didn't get divorced yet, but divine time, divine innovations, let them deal with it, because I have any more power to deal with the divorce. But the great news is that when I went to Sherry and Lee over at Ohio, they say, well, Dio, you can be a minister. You can go ahead and do some wedding ceremonies. So here is the original official part that I'm certified. I have to do some little bit of legal work to the state of Illinois, but it's all certified, and I'm gonna be working on that position. And that's why when you come together as a twin flame, here you go. You can call me. Um, so that's a good part right now because it's part of a process to go ahead and working on it. But the biggest process right now I'm going to be talking to you is deal. We are from two separate families. We're trying to bring our lives together. He's married, she's married. What should we do? Of it. And that is the part when I tell him before you do anything else, you need to do the naked talk. The naked talk when you finally make the agreement to go ahead and go out in the public as a twin flames. That is the time when no more lies, no more bullshit, no more crap. You tell the truth to your twin flame tells you the truth to you. You guys already resonate as a one, and you resonate in the right information. But in order to bring this 5D and put the life into the physical, there is some very important work you need to understand as far as how to organize your inner world, how to organize your finances, how to look at the things. Luckily, you guys, I've been for about 10 years in the financial services industry. I used to have a life insurance and mortgage license and loans. I used to do all that stuff into it back in the day. So I'm gonna kind of like give you some heads up of what to do when you're getting into the union. So you have to make sure that the 3D part it's kind of like a solved. If we're gonna be looking at this as my favorite triangle, if you look at it, this is the 3D, this is the 4D, and this is the 5D here. Zavet. Looking at through these positions, you have to comes back. You decide to go ahead and do the 5D inner work. You did that. Now it's the time to get the magic going. You got the magic that it's going, and you bringing it down into the 3D. Now it's the time for you to tell the world, hey, the love is here, the love exists, everything is fine. But the 3D, it is your base. If you don't have your 3D in order, or if you don't put everything, your stuff together, you already probably know what I'm talking about. Then, if this 3D is not in order between you and your twin flame, what you need to do, everything else, that 3D is going to begin to affect the magical world. So is your 5D. So is your connection. And this is why it's important to understand something very crucial, how and what to do. Zavet. So I'm giving you a little bit of heads up into when you have your naked talk. If you haven't understand what that is, go ahead and see the video, the naked talk. That is the time when you and your twin flame gets together and lay out everything. You're getting together. So you and your twin flame decide to put your lives together. Now what? What do you want to put those lives together? Say, you get a piece of paper and put it on the top. We want to build our dream. And right here in the paper, kind of like you divide it like this. Right here, you put you. Here you put your TF. And right here, you put us. So, for example, you want castle. Your TF wants farm. So, to make an agreement between the castle and the farm, you're gonna get a little ranch and the suburbs. You want to have BMW. Your TF wants to have Mercedes. So here is you put both BMW, Mercedes. What else you guys want? I want to have 2 kids. I want to have 4 kids. Put in the middle 3. You find everything that you listed down here, you put it down, and you begin to work through the 5D with the understanding to each other. So you can get into the middle. You can get to this part of in the middle. And when you look at this, all evolve is one thing. What it's involved, it's money, moolah, dinero, whatever you want to call into it. And it's very important to understand the proper way of finances, how they work. Finances work like you building a house. Right here you need some foundation. You're gonna need some walls. You're gonna need a door. You're gonna need a window, but also you're gonna need a roof. So to learn basically those finances, okay, what's gonna happen to this house if the foundation is weak? It's not right. This foundation, it's a life insurance. The best thing to have, I won't tell you why. The best thing to have, it's a term life insurance. The best way of you protecting this foundation. What this is, the walls, this is gonna be your mortgage. And that mortgage, we're gonna be talking about a little bit more. And the last thing, the roof, that's gonna be at the end of the life, that's gonna be your retirement. So you and your twin have to go ahead and look at it as when you put your lives together, what do you need? How much you need as far as the retirement? How much you need as a life insurance? How much you need about as a mortgage? So that way, when you coming in together, you're building something new, but something that it's solid. The reason you need a life insurance is just in case some of you die, one or the other, okay, there's gonna be an income replacement. That's what the life insurance is for. The life insurance is nothing else but income replacement. So that way this foundation is going to be stay steady and the mortgage is going to be paid off so the survivor can be okay with the retirement and not have to struggle. If nothing happened, then guess what? You had a protection, but you didn't have no worries about the mortgage. I'm going to talking about a little bit about the mortgage, but the most important part here it's retirement. Depends of how is your age about retirement. You cannot get a loan for retirement. You can get a loan for a mortgage, you can get a loan for a car, so you can get everything on it. But what you need to understand, you can get a loan for retirement from anybody. So I'm going to give you some website that when you and your twin getting together, you guys can go ahead and look at this website. And at this website, there is some very, very helpful financial tools. This is what the website is, dinkytown.net. You can go ahead and see it right there. And there is all the financial calculators. It's here. You can go ahead, auto, credit cards, loans, mortgage, personal finances, and so on. The best thing that I'm going to show it to you, since that is the most part, is when you're going to live in a house. When you're going to be living into the house, you need to understand what you're getting yourself into it. You need to understand how the mortgages are working. So, for example, you can go ahead and look at it. There is quite a bit different mortgages. The best mortgage, that is a bi-weekly mortgage that you get. If you can get into the bi-weekly mortgage, Zavit, that's going to be the most worth it money for your bucks. When you buy a house, never, ever, 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 never, ever, ever, ever refinance it. You can sell the house if you have to, but never refinance it. And I want to explain it to you why. Okay, so for example, this is how does it look like about a house. You put the interest rate, $200,000, 30 years. This is accelerated bi-weekly. The normal payment it's 1,013 and 37 cents, which is accelerated payment. It's a $500, 69 every 2 weeks of it. So the way you're gonna look at it in this is, this is the mortgage. If you look at it, the blue line, the dark blue line, that is for 30 years. And if you look at it, this light blue line, it's for about a little bit less than 26 years. So when you click here and view the report, you're going to be scrolling down and you'll see each year of the payments that you made, for the payments that were made and what the remaining balance is. The payments remain for the year the same. They're about 13,174, and as you see it here, the balance on the bi-weekly mortgage, the way it goes. For example, I will give you the year 20. Here you make the 30,000. The balance here is still 64,792. Here the balance is still 97,780. At year 25, the balance here is 7,000. Here is still all $54,000. Zavit. So by doing this, you don't pay 4 years of mortgage here, pretty much 5 years. That it's about $60,000 that you can save, and you can put in this money instead of towards the house, towards the retirement. The retirement is very crucial. What I wanted to tell you what to do is, when you look at this, I want to tell you why never refinance. The way the loans are working on it, they're working on the rule of 50-25, which means for half of the time you pay 1/4 of what you borrow. So if the half of the time is year 15, you pay only 1/4 of what you borrow. So you pay off only this little portion. This, it still remain for the half of the time. And this is why the mortgage company, they want you to refinance it. They can keep you here, because if you look at the payments when you're making, you can calculate this on your own. If you look at the payments that you're making of it, they are only go to the beginning towards the interest. They're not going towards the principal mostly, they go towards the interest. You pay the interest up front. And by the biweekly amortization schedule, you put more money. And since it's it's scheduled every 2 weeks. Anytime you make a payment, it's rescheduled, and you pay more and more and more faster that way because you pay more money towards the principal into. So you can also go ahead and for retirement, you can go ahead and you can see those calculations, for example, for a retirement and saving and planning. It's a very good website that you can find pretty much every financial calculator you want. And again, the website is dinkytown.net. Very good, very helpful website. And to go back into this is when you do your budgeting, for example, you go ahead and let's say you draw a line in the middle and you put yourself, your TF. Let's say you're making $4,000 and your TF making $3,000. So the total income becomes of $7,000. Now, on the base of this $7,000, you have to go back into that kind of like me, us, you, and look at that part in the middle because you have to cut that part me and a part you. You have to stick into that plan that you design with your twin flame that it's us. You both have to agree this is your bucket list, things that you have to accomplish, things that you wanted to do. And by looking at that $7,000 of it, you have to go ahead and understand the primary thing that you want to do is you want to have a roof over your head. So before you do anything, you have to say for priority number one, that's going to be retirement. Because you can't borrow a loan for retirement. Number two, house. Number three, life insurance. So you build those three pretty much right away into it. And after that, it comes in cars, kids, education. Somebody will say, well, dear, why put the kids' education in the bottom? You need to understand, your kids can borrow money for the student loan. You cannot borrow money for retirement. And this is why a lot of people make a mistake. They pull off their savings, their retirement savings, and they give it for the student loans, and all of a sudden they end up having broke, and they have to depend on their kids. If you want to depend on your kids when you are retired, wish you good luck into. So on this, you have to begin at least 10% of it. The house payment should be no more than 35% of the income you make. And 10, the life insurance, since it's going to be cheap, it probably is going to be no more than 8% of your income. So if you put it right here, that's going to be about 53%. So you still have another 47% you to work on it on the cars, kids' education, and also you have to put something very important here. Your spiritual life. What you give back into the community. What are you going to do about the spiritual part as you as a twin flame? What are you going to do? Oh, there we go. That's better on it. Sorry, I was writing. You guys didn't see it. So I'll begin again. So if you make 4 and your twin flame makes 3,000, total income is 7,000. Retirement 10%. House 35% of the income. Life insurance 8%. You have a 53% debt to income ratio. Now there is a very good lifestyle of 47% that you can go ahead and do what the things they need to do. You can buy the cars that you want, the kids' education, and spirituality life. A lot of the twin flames, when they come together, that spiritual life kind of like disappear. And later on they're like, well, deal, what's going on? Why we don't have this? Why we don't have the things that goes on? If you watch the video at the beginning, the way that I wrote it down, 5D, 4D, and 3D. If you don't take care of this on the top, your soul will not be able to go ahead and complete this recycling part, because that's how the life goes through it. You go up the ladder, you study the things that you need to do, your soul tells you what you need to do, you're in a synchronization with your soul, you came down to the magical world and you make the things happen in the 3D. Once the 3D action is complete, then you go up the ladder and you're going into the next. This is why some of the people, when I come into the Twin Flame Union, they ask me, well, Dio, we did this and this, but that didn't work. Dio, we're planning with my twin flame to getting together. We don't know what to do. Dio, well, I'm a financially kind of like not very well. What do you suggest that we to do? You have to look at it, everything to improve yourself with your twin, but the most part is improve your own self. If you don't improve your own self, you haven't learned the things that you need to learn. And you have to understand, you're building a new life, you're building something from very the beginning. You build something that it should be have a if you watch this video, it's a solid base, it's something that you created a new house into it. So that's pretty much it as far as it goes on. But guys, just make sure that when you go into a life, a lot of the people that I see under the twin flames make a one huge mistake. And the huge mistake that the people I see that they make is when they begin to evolve, they don't look at it this 3D anymore. The people that like to stay into the 5D and stay on this 5D for a very long time, and they probably losing a job, they going into the part that only looking at for the soul. And you can't just look at it in the soul, your soul in the 3D, your soul into the body. You need to learn to have this balance inside of you. You need to look at it to this balance, because if you don't take care of the material world is going to drag your spiritual world. This is why you have to learn how to navigate your inner balance, your inner peace. You have to maintain this state of inner peace and go with the flow from the universe. Going out to the magnetic fields, you already probably as a twin flame, you already know how this works. And this is why you and your twin flame are getting it together. This is why you're making this decision to make this step forward. And it's very important to have some kind of planning. It's not about programming, it is about that you in your twin flame, you designing your dream life. And that's what it's so important to understand what you need to do. Thank you so much, guys, for watching the video. I appreciate it. And if you have any comments or concerns, please leave a comments below. And guys, be love.